Coming up on Bloom, dive into the pages of Bear, Lion, or Wolf, how understanding your sleep type could change your life.
We want to stay up late, we want to get up early, we want to win the day, right? But the thing is that in order to win your day, you need quality sleep.
And find out why sleep divorces are growing in popularity. Plus, how to create the ultimate pet travel bag in preparation for any emergency. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. The state of sleep in America has declined over the years, and people are getting less sleep than ever before. It's reported that more than a third of Americans get less than 7 hours in a 24-hour period. Getting good Z's is essential for good health, and our next guest believes understanding your sleep type can change your life. Joining us now is sleep expert and the author of Bear, Lion, or Wolf, How Understanding Your Sleep Type Could Change Your Life, Olivia Arezolo. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So I know you're one of the leading sleep experts, really worldwide, and your book could be a game changer for so many people. So talk me through Bear, Lion, or Wolf.
Okay, so Bear, Lion, Wolf, it's all about your sleep chronotype or your sleep personality. What this means is a categorization system for your circadian rhythm. Now, this can be grouped into lions, people who like to rise and sleep early. It can be grouped into wolves, people who like to rise and sleep late. Or then you're in the middle, who are bears, and you don't really define yourself as a bear by needing early or late sleep, but you do define a bear by needing lots of sleep. They're the ones that they'll have 8 hours and they'll want to go back to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's not who I am. So, talk to me about sleep habits and how that plays into all of this, and why knowing whether you're a bear, a lion, or a wolf could make all the difference.
Okay, so sleep habits are often due to our personality, and there are certain personality traits that each of these chronotypes have. For example, if you are a lion, we're natural born leaders. I'm a lion, love to get up early, love to go to bed early, and yes, I am a natural born leader. So knowing this about my sleep helps me understand, okay, if I'm going to create a goal to improve my sleep, rather than just do it myself, I should lead somebody else. I should lead a buddy, I should lead a team, because that is going to motivate me. Whereas if you are a bear, so bears, for example, one of the personality traits that's quite synonymous is the fact that they have a 3 p.m. slump. Now, if you're a bear, you'll know your 3 p.m. slump because, like clockwork, 2:30, 3 o'clock rolls around and you are reaching for a coffee, right? And if you know this about yourself, you can say, okay, well, I know I'm going to struggle with my energy in the afternoon. So what are some other strategies that I can utilize rather than having a coffee, such as taking a walk or maybe doing some meditation, or on the weekend taking a nap. And so having this information about ourselves also helps us prepare and can be leveraged to get our best night's sleep.
All right, and for those of us who are looking to find balance in a fast-paced world, how do we go about doing that?
Okay, this one is challenging because there are so many demands. You know, we want to stay up late, we want to get up early, we want to win the day, right? But the thing is that in order to win your day, you need quality sleep. And I stress the word quality because it's not just any sleep. You need deep rest. You need to spend 20% of your total sleep time in slow wave sleep, 25% of your total sleep time in REM sleep, and when you do that, you wake up and you can win the day.
But getting to those levels, because look, I'm a junkie for technology, because I've been trying to get my sleep under control for so long, and so I track my sleep every night, and I don't know if it's genetics, I don't know what it is, but I'm in that 18%, 15% with the deep sleep and the REM sleep. Seems like I spend a lot of time in light sleep at night, and nothing I do, I follow all the rules, but it just doesn't change.
I honestly hear this so much, and I'm so glad that you've shared this, because it can be so frustrating. You're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Or, you know, what's with this, right? And so the thing is that there are higher sleep strategies or essential sleep strategies that you need to tick off in order to get that benchmark of, you know, 20% and 25%. And there are the helpful sleep strategies, but the thing is that there's no real recognition in mainstream media about what are the fundamentals and what are the just nice to haves. For example, making sure that you're reducing light in the evening. That is absolutely fundamental, non-negotiable, having minimal light and tech-free time before bed. Now this includes TVs, laptops, phones, and you can be doing all the other things. You can be having a great diet, you can be eating early, you can be avoiding alcohol, you can be minimizing caffeine, things that we also know are helpful. But if you are not getting light right, then chances are you're still going to be struggling with your sleep, even if you are doing all the right things.
What do you hope the takeaway is for readers of Bear, Lion, or Wolf?
Okay, my biggest takeaway is that anyone can be a good sleeper. By learning your chronotype, you are empowered to learn what works for your biology. It's not guesswork anymore. It's learning what works with your rhythm, your actual genes, and working alongside that within that matrix. And that's when you're able to get your best night's sleep.
Because I bet you a lot of people heard you say what's in your genes. It is in our genes. Like if you do one of those DNA kits, it showed me you are a light sleeper. So understanding how to manipulate who you are when it comes to sleep can lead to better outcomes. Because like you said, instead of reaching for the coffee at 3, do something else that will promote the sleep that you need.
Definitely.
Any other final tips for folks out there that are struggling, that are like, maybe this is my answer. Once I know I'm a bear, I can, I'll get a good night's sleep.
For sure, for sure. One of my biggest tips is if you do want to take a nap. Now this is really good because a lot of people are so fatigued, they're not getting their Z's in the evening, so come the weekend they can take a nap. You need to follow this perfect nap plan that I've created to ensure that your nap is rejuvenating rather than you wake up feeling worse. That is, 1, keep it short, less than 30 minutes. This prevents you going in deep sleep. 2, keep it dark, wear an eye mask.
Okay.
This helps you sleep. And 3, keep it early. Finish the nap before 3:30.
I love it. Thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. And we're going to share this story with you. You can read digital reporter and producer Bertie Waddell's full article on BloomTampaBay.com. Of course, we'll have one up as well. And we are thrilled. Olivia joined us on our podcast, The Bloom Health Club, in the WFLA Now Streaming Center to continue this conversation. You can stream the full episode anytime on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Living the Tampa Bay lifestyle means enjoying the sand, sun, and outdoors fun. So get out, get active, and nurture those healthy habits. Hey there, I'm Gayle, host of Bloom. Now there's a new all-inclusive place with everything you need to shape your lifestyle, boost your health, and improve your wellness. BloomTampaBay.com, Tampa Bay's premier health and wellness website, made to help you feel good. Whether you're a fitness fanatic, beauty buff, or just want to take your first step towards positive change, this free website is for you. See the Bay Area's hottest fitness products, the latest workout crazes, and learn nutrition tips from the experts. Plus, discover local events and experiences designed with your well-being in mind. Cultivate a healthy mind, body, and soul. Check out BloomTampaBay.com, your local health and wellness website. That's BloomTampaBay.com. Welcome back. Good sleep is essential for good health, and many times the pace of modern society can make getting a good night's sleep on a regular basis seem like a dream. Here answering the top 3 viewer questions about sleep is psychologist Dr. Daniel Bond. It is so great to see you, Dr. Bond.
You too, Gayle. Thank you again for having me back. It's always lovely to come and chat about sleep.
I know. It's one of my favorite subjects because it's so fleeting for so many of us. And before we jump into the viewer questions, talk to me about why sleep is so important.
Yeah, so sleep is the foundation of almost everything in your body. So if we think about what your body's doing in the middle of the night, and we know a lot about how the brain and the body are kind of functioning in the middle of the night, but really what your body and brain are doing is really kind of, unpacking what happened in the day. Healing is happening in your body when sleep is occurring, especially stage 3 sleep. So we just know that sleep is good for lots of just overall good physical health.
And when you say stage 3 sleep, what's that?
Yeah, so there's 3 stages of sleep, and then there's REM sleep. So stage 1 is kind of that light sleep, or N1. You might be awake, you might be asleep, you couldn't really tell the difference. Stage 2 is a little bit deeper, so that's kind of when you take maybe like a cat nap and you might go a little bit deeper. Stage 3 is when you're out. Like you are like groggy if you wake up in the middle of it. In fact, that's why if you had a nap and you hit stage 3 sleep and you wake up and you're like super groggy, you hit stage 3 sleep. And then there's REM sleep, which actually is technically not sleep because of the brainwave activity. But all of these different stages correspond to different kind of brainwave activity changes that are happening. And your brain is doing different things, your body is doing different things at each one of these stages.
All right, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to our viewer question. How much sleep do I really need?
This is a good one. Almost everyone asks this question. And I would say, I hear the most common answer to this around, 8 hours or so. But I would say really the best way to answer this question is quality of sleep. So in general, we do know that younger individuals tend to need a little bit more sleep than older ones. And as we age, we also know that our amount of sleep tends to decrease. But generally speaking, for younger individuals, and I would say kids to even teenagers, anywhere from like 8 to 9-ish hours a night is a good kind of frame of reference. For individuals who are a little bit older that are beyond the teen years, really you're looking at between 7 to 8-ish to 9-ish hours at times. Now the key difference here is the amount of time is not what matters. What matters is how much of a quality of that sleep was. So for example, you could have 7 hours of solid, uninterrupted rest and feel much more rested from that than if you had 9 hours of fragmented sleep. So even though you might be spending more time in bed, those 9 hours might not actually be better quality of sleep. So time in bed does not equate to quality of sleep.
Okay, great question. All right, next one is, should I take anything like medications or supplements to help me sleep?
Great question. And there's a lot of, interesting kind of debate around these things in the field. And I would say, so number one, we do know that the gold standard treatment for people that have difficulty with acute sleep might be a short-term medication. But really, after we move beyond that acute phase, so anything greater than 6 weeks or more and you're still having sleep disruptions, medications really aren't indicated for sleep. The same is kind of true for sleep supplements. So I can tell you, a lot of times I see clients and they come in and they're like, gosh, do I need more melatonin, or do I need more magnesium, or do I need, there's lots of things out there that people take for sleep these days, including things you can get lots of different places. And I would tell you, for the most part, if you're having sleep difficulties, it's not because of a lack of melatonin. It's not because of a lack of magnesium. It's not because of a lack of any of these other things. It's other things that are happening for you. So those supplements, while they can maybe make you drowsy, what we do know is that people that have sleep difficulties, it's not an issue of being drowsy. It's an issue of not being able to go back to sleep when you wake up. So, yeah.
Interesting. All right, these are great. Last question, can my smartphone help me sleep better?
Ooh, I love this one. So there's a lot of interesting kind of debate around these things, because these devices, they're ubiquitous, they're everywhere. And I would say it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So your smartphone is not good for sleep if you're, doom scrolling on, TikTok or Instagram, or you're checking your email in the middle of the night, or or playing your video games on your phone. That's when your smart device is not going to help you to sleep. However, there are some parts of a smart device and your phone or laptop, and even kind of tablet that can help you if you learn how to use some of the features. Some of those features might be, a wind down routine. So both iPhone and Android have this, where you set it up of when you want to go to bed, and it'll kind of alert you maybe about 45 minutes beforehand. So you can be like, oh, it's time for me to maybe kind of put away the device or put away the TV and sort of kind of start my wind down routine. It's also really important to learn how the do not disturb feature on your devices work too. So let's say you're going to take that power nap, which we've talked about before. Anything less than 30 minutes is a good nap for people. you don't want to really go beyond that, because then you might hit that stage 3 sleep that we talked about a few moments ago. So if you were to get that power nap, you really want to be able to quickly turn on Do Not Disturb and make sure that, you know, that telemarketer doesn't wake you up, or that random breaking news alert doesn't wake you up when you're trying to like catch your, you know,
Right.
30-minute Z's. And then I would say the last part that a device can really be helpful for you too is if it can introduce some sort of like noise camouflage. So whether it's playing white noise or soothing rain sounds, I would say use a device like that, you know, wherever you're at. If you're like in the airplane and it's just you, or if you're, you know, by yourself or somewhere, these you can actually use your smartphone to actually help you get better sleep. You just have to know how to use it and when not to use it.
I like that. I got to tell you, my executive producer Elizabeth told me about that white noise that's on your cell phone. If you don't know about it, go under the accessibility section and snoop around in there. You'll figure it out. But it's called background. It takes a couple steps to get to it, but it's worth finding it.
You totally Google it and find it.
Yeah, Google it and find it. It's way better than whatever I just explanation gave you. All right, thank you so much,
You're
Dr.
welcome,
Ron.
Gayle.
All right, we're going to share this story on BloomTampaBay.com. And coming up, there's one more question we need to answer. Is a sleep divorce a sign your marriage is in trouble? We'll find out when Bloom returns. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. Sleep divorces are a growing trend among couples, with many saying sleeping separately from their partner has improved their lives. The big question is a sleep divorce a sign your marriage is in trouble? Here with more is the developer of the psychobiological approach to couples therapy, researcher and the author of Wired for Love, Dr. Stan Tatkin. Dr. Stan, welcome to Bloom.
Thank you, Gayle. Thank you for having me.
So we're hearing a lot lately about sleep divorce. Is it a sign that your marriage is in trouble?
No.
Okay.
No, people have been doing this for a long time. Sleeping in separate bedrooms, sleeping in separate beds, sometimes sleeping in different locations in the house. So no, this is, sometimes people get better sleep by themselves. Sometimes after women have children, they're very sensitive to sound, easily awakened. People start to develop restless leg syndrome. Some people sleepwalk, sleep talk. Other people snore. Some people have sleep apnea and worse, untreated sleep apnea. People should always get checked for that. And so, yeah, some people just naturally like being alone in their bed. Some people want to be just with their dog. Who knows? But it doesn't necessarily. There are other indicators that we look at to see if a relationship is drifting. And I think that's what you're talking about, drifting.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole separate subject. And I mean, listen, I sleep with my dog and my husband. My husband's a very noisy sleeper. Like, he snores a lot. I've tried to sleep separately, but I miss him so much that I come back and endure the snoring. But a lot of people try sleeping in separate bedrooms, and it really works for them. Are you seeing this trend growing?
No.
No?
I'm not. No, it seems to, in my experience in my clinic, it seems to be the same percentage of people that do this. And again, we prefer, as in terms of my work, prefer that people co-sleep. That's the best. That they put each other to bed at night. They wake up together. That is the ideal. You can just test that out for yourselves and see which is better for you. But generally speaking, people have a better sleep. They have a better day the next day. They close the night together. It's a ritual that I think is important for all kids and adults to do, because we are actually getting ready to separate and go off into some netherworld where we're absolutely alone, and then we wake up and we'd like to be greeted by somebody.
Yes.
And that would be really nice. And so our partner would be the best person to be greeted by. Next, maybe the dog. I don't know. But yeah, so we like that. But we also understand in this work with couples that not everything is possible. I am concerned. Has your husband checked for sleep apnea?
He has, and he has one of those machines, but the machine is about as obnoxious as the snoring. So
They make very quiet ones these days,
do.
so have them look into that.
I need to get his adjusted or something. All right, last question, doctor. What's an example of the language we should choose when determining sleep arrangements? If you just really can't deal with it anymore, is there a way to delicately bring this up?
Yeah, collaborative speech instead of you, and I, me, my. It's, I'm having a hard time sleeping and I get really cranky. Can we both agree that that's not good? Yeah, we both agree that's not good. What do you think would be the best solution, sweetheart? I'm thinking maybe sleeping when it's bad at night. I can't sleep to sleep in the other bed. What do you think? Do you think that would be a good idea? Because I'd be nicer to you because I get angry if sometimes I wake you up and do things you don't like shove you off the bed. Would that be a good idea? So you're trying to get consensus. You always, in couples, you want to make it good for me and good for you. Always, always. And there's always a way to do that as long as you talk collaborative. We, us. Wouldn't it be better? What would you think? And you'll negotiate, bargain your way, I think, to a better idea. Maybe one that you didn't even think of. Your partner could provide.
I like that. It's probably better than the old elbow in the rib.
Yeah, it is.
Dr. Stan, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome, Gayle.
All right, we're going to share Dr. Stan's advice on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by the Knockbox.
Welcome back to Bloom. Life is busy with managing a home, online accounts, kids, bills, and everything in between. So making sure you're organized for both yourself and your next of kin is crucial. Now there's a solution to help you organize and have peace of mind. Joining me now with more is the owner and founder of the Knockbox, Maria Freietti. Maria, it's such a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, what does this stand for? N-O-K, Knockbox.
Yes, it's the next of kin box. I was like, I've got to create a system that if something happened to me, somebody could manage all of the complicated things in my life. And I realized it's called the next of kin box because that is who it's ultimately for.
And you found out kind of in a really sad way how difficult this is when your own father passed away.
Yes, and we thought he was set. He had a will, he had his folder and his list of things, that people do. And we went to his home and realized there's just so much more to manage than we think there is. Pets and golf carts and snowmobiles and all the things that he had. He had a camper in the villages we had to track down. So it was really hard because he did not leave us a list of those kinds of things.
And really, you've thought this through every single detail. I mean, this isn't just a regular filing system with all the labels you could possibly imagine, but each one has an insert of exactly what you need to do. It's like a how-to.
That's right, yes. So I started this for myself. I'm a busy mom, I had a couple of jobs and I just had so much going on that I thought I need to be organized and I need to be organized for my next of kin. But right inside each of these folders, there is really specific details. If you've got a car, you might think, oh, the car will go to my kids in the will. Well, someone has to cancel your toll pass and cancel your AAA and figure out all of the other XM radio, things that go along with that vehicle. And then people don't know how to manage that after somebody passes. Sometimes it goes through probate and there is a lot of accounting to do. So the backs of each of these sheets help the next of kin do that for every single thing in your entire life.
And you know what I think people don't realize is that you don't start cutting off these accounts and these dings on the payment, it comes out of the estate. So even after your loved one is deceased, the people that are out there collecting are still collecting that money that might go to someone in a will.
And you might want them to be the mortgage auto payments. You want that to keep going so nothing happens to your home. So there are a lot of things that you just have to think about and manage and make sure are up and running when you manage someone else's, even a spouse. Yeah. Sometimes, one spouse or the other doesn't know all of the information, so it's really important to have this.
And I know this system is hugely popular. You have so many sales. What would you say sets it apart from others?
Well, it is bridging that gap between what's online and what's on paper. So many of us still have paper bills coming into the house, but of course we manage most things online, and it's hard to keep those two things together. So we just call it the paper trail for your digital life. so that you can remember what you've got online and other people know what you have online, your family. And it just manages that entire thing instead of other systems that maybe are just a workbook or just digital. We do both.
And you know, my husband's like, well, I've got everything online and you've got my passwords, but at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm looking for. So if it's all laid out for your loved one, they know which account, where to look, number, everything that you can think of. I mean, this is brilliant.
And when someone says, can I help you? You can say, here, do these two, call the insurance company, or the siblings can divide this work up and divide it up almost tangibly and physically, and you can take notes and just keep track of everything.
It's a brilliant idea. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thanks a lot.
For more information, you can visit theknockbox.com. Use the promo code Bloom15 for 15% off all the kits. And we're so excited to have the Knockbox participating in our Bloom Health Expo Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. inside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Advent Health Training Center. And we hope to see you there. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by the Knockbox.
You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Welcome back to Bloom. The Environmental Protection Agency is out with new regulations for forever chemicals in drinking water. Here to explain how that can impact your health is board-certified pediatrician Dr. David Berger. Dr. Berger, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
So tell me about the new EPA guidelines.
Yeah, so forever chemicals, which are often found in things such as nonstick cookware, things to surfaces and things like that. They have been found to be associated with things like liver cancer and kidney cancer, developmental conditions, high blood pressure, fertility issues. And this has been something we've known about for a while, but this is a huge step, probably the biggest step in water safety that has ever happened with the EPA by mandating that all the community water systems have to be testing and they're setting guidelines, well, not guidelines, specific maximum amounts that are allowed.
Okay, that's good to know that they're taking these actions. Is the same thing happening with microplastics in water?
So there hasn't been the same type of warnings that have been put forth, but that's another thing that we're concerned about because of their associations with all types of health issues and developmental issues. And these particles, they're so small that they can penetrate into the tissues, into each cell individually where they disrupt how the cells work.
So why is having clean, safe drinking water so important for our overall health?
Well, obviously, it's the substance of our life. You know, we're mostly water. We're drinking water. Everybody should be drinking water only, really, for the most part. And so, the healthier you are, also, the more you may be exposed. Right? People are, not to say it's not in sodas and other types of stuff like that, but we need clean water. And so thankfully this is happening, but it's still going to be a while in the communities that are not testing, because as of right now, there's only 11 or 12 states that mandate the testing, and another 12 that have set guidelines that they can follow. But what's happened is the EPA has set very good standards, like something like 4 parts per trillion is the maximum of these plastics. And it's estimated that about 5 to 10% of communities in our country still have no one's looking at it at all. And in addition to that, they are if they find it in the water, if they don't have their system set up, they're still, if they find it for 3 years, it's okay before they have to make a change. And then they have 2 years to actually fix the change. So a lot of people, if they're being exposed, it could still be 3 to 5 years before it's out of the water system.
Is there anything that we can do? I mean, I know some people use even like countertop filtration systems. Do those help at all?
It depends on the quality. So in terms of with the forever chemicals, it's felt that probably the best thing that helps with that is what's called an activated charcoal filter. So this is something the big blocks, and they're put onto the water system before they enter into the house. Like, so ours is in our garage. And so the charcoal is a binder. Like, people use activated charcoal as a binder. And so that stops most of it coming through. And then there are other types of filtration, such as reverse osmosis, which can do both the plastics as well as the forever chemicals as well. So we have a reverse osmosis system that's actually under our sink that hooks up through our little spigot, and that's what we do. So we get our activated charcoal, and then we have a second phase with the reverse osmosis.
These systems, though, are expensive. I mean, they're not affordable for everybody. So, I mean, what's the solution for the family that just doesn't have it in their budget? Because we too, we have that system. We're very fortunate to have it, but you know, it's not. If
So,
you live
well,
in
there
an
are things that,
apartment-
So, I mean, in all honesty, and again, this is where kind of it comes because especially the plastics, plastic water bottles. Like all of the bottles that we buy at the stores, there are in them, like in 1 liter, so a little bit more than a quart, 240,000 particles have been found in 1 bottle. So drinking out of glass, drinking out of stainless steel, right? As opposed to the water, a lot of people use plastic water bottles, but just changing to stainless steel, just as safe, keeps it colder longer, better. But that's one way of avoiding the plastic, so it's not sitting in there all day.
Last but not least, and I know this is probably for a whole nother Bloom segment, fluoride in the water.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a recent study in JAMA this past week that came out. Of course, we know fluoride, the importance of stopping dental decays. Having fluoride in the water, especially in underserved communities which may not get to dentists at office or have the health care, can be a really big issue. But there have also been concerns of it, and the Journal of the AMA came out with a study this past week that that they looked and they saw the amount of urine fluoride levels in pregnancy had a direct impact on neurodevelopmental disorders when the kids were older, and up to a double-fold increase of neurodevelopmental disorders once they passed a certain threshold of the fluoride in the urine. Wow. So a lot more coming out. This is a this week type of study that just came out. But it's concerning because obviously we want to protect teeth for fluoride, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not doing anything, the unintended consequences.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, as more information comes out about this, we'll reach out to you and hopefully you can come back.
Of course.
All right, thanks, Dr. Berger. We're going to share this story on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Welcome back to Bloom. In the beginning stages of Florida's hurricane season, it's important to make sure you and your furry family members are prepared for any emergency. Joining us now with tips for creating the ultimate pet travel bag is lifestyle expert Anastasia Turchetta, and of course, Special Agent Gibbs, who is here on set with us today, really wanting some treats. Hey, Anastasia.
Thank you. How are you?
Typically, Gibbs is always ready for his close-up here in studio, but right now he's totally focused on what's on this table.
He is, yes.
There's no hurricane, thank goodness, but Gibbs wants all the supplies that are up here.
He wants to make sure that everybody, every human, helps their pet too. That's
yes,
it. He's in
yes,
support.
Yeah, so as he stands in alert, looking at the treats up here, what are the essential food and water supplies that we should include?
Gail, it's a great question, and I think now is the time of year to actually do this. So refresh, if you don't have a bag already, refresh the bag. So meaning give yourself 2 weeks of food, meaning kibble and can, because I know you use fresh,
I do.
a fresher item food. And sometimes, for an emergency evacuation you can't go fresh. So it's important to go kibble and can. If you go can food, then make sure you take a handheld can opener, because you never know when you're going to be on the road, right? So, I mean, you want to make sure you pack that. Water. I've got water here, but it's important to recognize a dog the size of Gibbs is going to take about 1 gallon of water a day, where Marble, clearly a little, not as much as 1 gallon a day.
Right.
But you want to make sure that you have those items especially set. A 6-foot leash, and make sure you've got waste bags or poop bags. That way you are, it's always about pet etiquette and cleaning up after yourselves, because we just don't know where you're going. And you might have to spare a square with somebody.
Spare a square, I like that. So how can you organize and store your pet's medical records and important documents so those two will be ready? Now Gibbs has just left. You might see him.
He just went rogue. He went rogue.
All right, so what do you do?
The first thing that you would do is, I always have a Ziploc bag. So I will print out the PDF of his vaccination records. I also think it's really important, and note to this, if you download it on your computer, then you can just upload it to the notes on your phone. And then that way you can share that with Mark, you can share it with the kids, and everybody knows their vaccination records, who the vet is, information, and also make sure that you've got up a picture. And this way too, you've got something to help them out and see, where that's going to land.
Okay, Gibbs is back. We're really trying to give you really important information here. What are some comfort items? I see that you have Mr. Bill here. Oh no! From the
love
old
that.
SNL days.
You know, we keep certain toys just for either traveling or, in this case, for his bag. So it's really important to keep them calm too, because they're going to pick up on your energy, right? So one of the things to do, and he has it right now, is a puzzle toy. And that distracts him from my energy of probably trying to pack my items and make sure I've got, you know, vet numbers and all of the things like that saved in my phone and or printed them out. And this way, you know, a puzzle toy is great. You put a couple of treats, healthy treats in it, and he's a little distracted by it.
It's
and
great.
It's perfect, right?
Yes.
And he's got his other toys and he's ready for that. The other thing too to consider is to make sure you pack like just even something like a small first aid kit, because we don't know where we're going with our pets and anything can happen. So it could be, you know, bandages, maybe a tweezer in case, you know, you want to be prepared for something like a tick or something like that. Medications, you want to make sure that's written down also, because we don't know what's going to happen to you. But take your medications for flea and tick or heartworm, and then also write those down. And I have, like I said, I have notes in my phone, and I just record it, you know, I just have everything there, and I send that to David or an emergency contact.
Very, very good stuff. And I think, like, to the name of the game, which clearly you're so organized, is to make sure that you do that. Do you have any additional tips for us?
I would say update your microchip information.
Okay.
Because sometimes we've moved or the dog may be sharing homes, and it's really important. And you can do this for free through your vet. The other thing is to update your emergency contact information. So for example, the people that we had for Gibbs emergency contact, they moved. So I have to make sure I do that with daycare, vets, all the things in that way too, you know, and make sure that you ask the person ahead of time, but that information should be updated. And then something to note in Florida, super cool, but the disaster, I think it's the sales tax holiday. We just had one to prepare for hurricanes in June, but there's a second opportunity, we haven't missed it, and it begins in August. So Google that, because items like waste bags, bedding, you know, different things like that, we can, you know, enjoy for hurricane preparedness, and it's also a tax relief.
Okay, well, you know,
Yeah.
now that the interview is over, Gibbs is tapped out. He's exhausted, and he's sitting in one spot right now. So there you have it.
There we have it.
All right, we're going to share Anastasia's advice on bloomtampabay.com. And our digital reporter and lead producer also put together, Brody Waddell, a helpful guide for pet parents. We're going to post both of these stories for you. And before we go to break, it's time for today's Bloom trivia question. True or false? Dogs can smell your feelings. We'll have the answer later on Bloom.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by South University.
Welcome back to Bloom. There are many benefits of higher learning, including building confidence, personal growth, and the potential for career growth and greater income. Joining me now to tell us about the benefits of getting your degree with South University is Carrie Conboy, the Director of Outreach and Development from their Tampa campus. Welcome to Bloom. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks. We're happy and excited to be here and be part of the Bloom Expo this year.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. So tell me a little bit about South University.
Well, we're a regionally accredited private institution that was founded in 1899. We have 8 campuses throughout the Southeast and then 1 here in Tampa.
Oh, that's awesome. So what are some of your key programs that you offer?
Some of the key programs, Gayle, is our Bachelor of Science of Nursing, which we have a weekend program, so it makes it really convenient for people that have to work full time. And then we have our 15-month physical therapy assistant program. It's an Associate of Science. And then we have our 15-month occupational therapy assistant program, which is 15 months. So very, very convenient for someone that needs to work and go to school and have that work-life balance.
So talk to me about what makes your university and program so unique.
What makes us unique is that you can take a class every 5 weeks, finish your degree a lot quicker. So we not only help you get your degree at South, but we have a great career services director. We work with TGH, Kindred, we work with Advent Health. We have a lot of community partners. So not only do we help our students get degrees, Gayle, but we have a great placement rate and get our graduates jobs in the community.
That's fantastic. Now, where exactly are you located?
We're right over by Raymond James Stadium, 4401 9th North Himes Avenue, right there on the corner of MLK and Himes.
And it sounds like the way that everything is structured, to your point, you know, people want to move ahead in life, they want to further their education, but they just can't figure out the balance. But the way you offer programs and the way they're structured, it makes it a lot easier.
Yes, that's why we're successful and our students are successful, because we make that work-life balance convenient for them so they can finish, get their degree, and then get a great job in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, and I think in mentioning, speaking of the jobs, you know, there's a lot of college graduates, they pay all of this money, but because there's no community partnerships, it's hard to find a job sometimes. So these key partnerships that you have can help your students get a great track record.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love our partners and we love working with them, and they love working with our students.
Well, this sounds really incredible, and I so appreciate it. And of course, you know, we're health and wellness here on Bloom, so it's so great that you have these programs that really specialize on that.
Yes, we're excited to be there on the 15th.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay, to learn more, you can visit their website on the screen, or pick up the phone right now and call 813-393-3800. That's 813-393-3800, and you can talk with an admissions representative. There's no application fee. And again, we are so excited to have South University participating in our Bloom Health Expo Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The exciting part about this, it's all happening inside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Advent Health Training Center. That's where our Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice. So you're going to get up close and personal and see the inside air-conditioned training facility there. It's so cool. So we hope to see you there. I'll be there, and we will be right back with more Bloom right after this. So don't go away.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by South University.
It's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. True or false? Dogs can smell your feelings. The answer is true. According to research, dogs can smell our emotions, and emotions change. A dog's sense of smell is about 100,000 times better than humans, and because of their elevated sense of smell, dogs are highly sensitive to chemical changes that occur when we feel different emotions. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And don't forget to check out our podcast, The Bloom Health Club. You can catch it live on Facebook and YouTube on Mondays at 2 p.m. We take a deep dive and have extended conversations with some of the top guests that we have right here on Bloom. You can watch our podcast anytime on YouTube or listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Well, we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We're exploring the love languages of food. Yep, you heard us right. Chef Terrell Manning is whipping up a delicious recipe right out of the pages of his book. And longtime restaurateur and executive chef Pat Icavella is bringing a taste of Italy into the Bloom kitchen. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by The Knockbox and South University.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.